Life Unfiltered podcast. In this podcast, we dig deep into the stories of our guests to connect the dots between their life experiences and what they're doing today. Today, we have special guest Breanna Courtney. Breanna, if you want to quickly introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am Breanna Courtney. I am one of the founders of the great team of Alpha Fit Club, and we are about to really blow up all over New Jersey and hopefully the rest of the country. So, hello, everyone, and thank you guys for having me tonight.
Awesome. Breanna, great to have you. Just if you can go back and just talk about, what was the environment while you were growing up, how some early motivations, and maybe connect that with what you're doing today. That'll be extremely helpful.
Sure. Yeah. I grew up in New Jersey in Union County. It was
Mm-hmm.
my mom, my dad, my brother, and I. We were always very, very involved in sports. I grew up playing basketball. I have to say, I owe a lot of, I actually owe everything to my parents. They just instilled in me from a very young age that, maybe I wasn't the most talented athlete on the court, on the field, and they knew that, and they knew that I really wanted to play, and they said, you want to play, you are going to always have to work harder than everybody. And they were right. I mean, I wasn't horrible, I wasn't great, I was just average, but I had a lot of good athletes around me, and they always let me know that hard work beats talent almost every time. So I think from about the second grade, I remember my dad taking me to, the municipal building when the lights were off at
Mm-hmm.
night. I was doing basketball drills until I was crying. And I never had any shot. I'm a 5'3" white girl, but I, from a very young age, even though they knew like my goals at that time were unrealistic, they let me know that hard work is extremely important. I don't take advantage for, I don't not acknowledge the fact that I was, privileged growing up, but my parents didn't let me know that for a long time. I didn't understand that for a long time, and they really instilled the hard work in me. And, my brother to this day, Katul, as you know, is a successful, hardworking guy, and I really credit a lot of what I'm able to do today and a lot of the motivation that I have found in my life with Alpha Fit Club, with, being a good wife, with being a good friend, with being a good daughter, is because of my family. So, had a very good upbringing, really nice town, really nice friends. My maid of honor, who has been my best friend since I was, I don't know, 12 years old, is still a huge part of my life. So I think I'm very lucky in those aspects. So pretty much how I grew up was really good. Not many complaints.
That's
Amazing.
that's awesome. So it sounds like your upbringing basically created that framework that allowed you to accomplish what you've done so far, right? Is that a fair statement?
It is. It's funny because now that, like I mentioned before, my husband and I, we just got married about a month ago, and we're looking at houses, we're looking at where to live, and people keep saying to me, "How are the school systems? How are the school systems in different houses or different towns we look at?" And every time I get asked that, I think to myself, "Well, what is it? What does it matter?" And I know it does matter, but I had the type of parents where they were like, you come home and you do your work and you're going to do it right. And we don't care who your teacher is. You could have the best teacher, you could have the worst teacher, and you need to come home and bring home A's. And that's what we do in this house. So I of course, I acknowledge that, different towns, the education
Mm-hmm.
level or interests, common interests of, the board may differ, but I tend to believe that my parents really shaped me, and I think I was set up for success by them, and very grateful for that.
Yeah, that's a really true statement. I think when you end up coming into a privileged upbringing, what ends up happening is a lot of people lose that work ethic. And to be honest, I think you nailed it perfectly, that work ethic beats talent every single time. And so I think the most important thing is basically having that work ethic instilled into you at a young age, because then that manifests in various ways later in life.
Oh, definitely. And when I say privilege, I mean my dad and my mother both worked. My Neither one of them came from backgrounds of wealth, or it was actually quite the opposite. My grandfather, who I admire and talk about probably daily, and my whole family, he's what we're built around. But my grandfather on my dad's side was actually an orphan. He was left on a stoop in Elizabeth when he was just a baby, and he was actually taken in by an Irish priest who, raised him, brought him up to who he was. He joined the Navy at 16, faked a birth certificate, became, a very high ranked guy there, um, very respected by his peers, then went on to become Port Authority cop, went back to school, bought a house, raised a family of three, then had us, my brother and I, Katul, as you know, and my cousin Ryan and Shannon, who we're very close with, and now they have kids, and I got married, I'm going to have kids, and my brother's going to get married. So when I say privilege, my dad worked very hard and my mom worked very hard to get there, as did my uncle, so on and so forth. But it came from a background of having absolutely nothing. I remember there were Christmases where my grandpa actually wouldn't let me throw out the rest of my lollipop. Like, if he would always give us lollipops when he came in the door, the blow pops and the Tootsie Pops. And we were young, like we couldn't always finish.
Mhm.
And if we couldn't, he would take them from our mouths and say, there are some kids that never get to have these. So whereas I was lucky enough to have such good parents that I never had to, or I shouldn't even say good. I was lucky enough to have parents that were put in the position to not have me in that position. But, I never went through that myself, but I know that I came from a lineage of people that had to go through really hard times that got me here. And I try to really never take it for granted.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. I think it's a great mindset to have. So that's credit to you to, maintain that mindset.
Yeah, we'll see.
So let's talk a little bit about how Alpha Fit Club started, right? I know it's growing really, really rapidly. There's a lot of great things happening for it, but like, where did the idea come from?
So I would actually say amongst our team, we all have a background that brought us to where we are today. Um, of course, I love my team. They're all great. They're fantastic. We often say, like, it's almost, it's crazy how we came together because everyone's different skills mesh so perfectly. Of course, on this call, I can only speak for myself. But for me, I grew up, like I said, playing sports. Soccer was really my love. It was my passion. It was something I captained in. It was something that really made me my friends in life. It like shaped me as a person. And once I was done with soccer, I started working out more seriously because, like I said, I was never talented enough to play at a high level. I love the game. I love the sport. I love the people. I like the atmosphere of it. So once I knew I was done with soccer, I knew that I wanted to move on and do something similar, just have that feeling, community, team, so on and so forth. So I started working out with a personal trainer in Clark. His name was actually Rich Tuma. He did small personal training. It was an elite fitness gym, and then he moved on. But he had me work out with him, and he was honestly my first ever mentor. I was probably 18, 17, 18. He just taught me the ins and outs of working out. I worked out with him 7 days a week. He was great. My brother went there. He was great. He's well known, small town name, and just a very good man. After I worked out with him, I went to Rutgers. I partied a little, maybe some too hard there. Kind of lost track of a lot of my training, and kind of lost a little bit of what really grounded me in life. Came back to it, got a full-time job with another Rutgers guy, which was amazing, and realized, hey, I've always wanted to be in the fitness industry, even if where I'm going to make the bulk of my money right now is in software, which is where I got my job. That's fine. But I always knew my calling in life was to be that, like, that captain, that team leader, that voice that gets everyone together. Um, so long story short, my dad knew that this was a passion of mine from a young age. He saw a couple ads on Facebook about real estate opening for fitness spaces. He reached out to me and he said, hey, we have this. I had a very, very close friend who's very, very near and dear to my heart, one of my biggest mentors in my life that I'm very grateful for, who is now my partner. At the time, I was pretty young, probably had $1,000 in my bank account, but I didn't want to ignore what my dad sent me. And I went to him and I said, hey, if you want to be a part of this with me, I know we work out together, we enjoy, we have our interests, goals, so on and so forth. Do this together. He agreed. Um, he got a couple partners that he knew of in the similar kind of, for lack of a better word, wealth space as him. And then they knew Sam Tooley, who was kind of the face of our gym now. He has a very inspiring story. He's an amazing person. He's great on all things media. He knows how to talk to people. Um, and he was brought in. And, we have a couple other partners. There's 6 founders total, and I'm equally grateful for all of them. And that's how we got started. It kind of all happened really fast. I was actually injured at the time when we opened. I had a fractured back, recovered from that. And, now it's 3 years later with a pandemic in the middle, and we're about to have New Jersey completely sold out.
Wow, that's
Nice.
awesome. I'm gonna take a wild guess here. Well, I guess it's not that wild, but was there a reason that New Jersey was targeted first? I'm guessing it's just because I'm guessing most of the founders live in the area. Is that the reason, or was it like more of like a strategic focus on why the New Jersey market first?
That is the reason, A. And B, it's just the market here is very good. I mean, New Jersey's so supple in terms of what it offers. You have your shore towns, you have your farm areas, you have your city towns, and all of them bring a different vibe and a different um, group of people to the room, and they're all equally valuable. And I work out primarily, like our first 3 locations for Alpha Fit Club were Westfield, which is our flagship, and then we have Verona and Red Bank. And I go to all 3 of them primarily Red Bank and Westfield just because of my location. And
Hmm.
I can go to the same class in Westfield and Red Bank in the same day, and I can feel like I did 2 different workouts. So I do think, based on where you are in New Jersey, since we do have the benefit of so many different cultures, so many different ways of living, we get so much in one state. Not to say,
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So it almost sounds like as while other gyms use standardized approach, you guys are leveraging local differentiation, right? So it's like the workout styles, maybe the equipment. I don't know about the equipment, but the workout styles, potentially the equipment, potentially the trainers, they're more adapted to the local environment. Is that a
yes,
true statement?
we do share some trainers across locations, at least at this point, as we can, while we have the bandwidth to do that. But when you go to the different locations, you do feel the difference based on the town you're in. And it's not to say one's better than
I
the,
see.
it's just
Hmm.
it's just different. And I love that because I feel like now I have 3 new friend groups, and now I'm about to have 21. And if you guys can't tell already, I love to talk. So that's exciting because I think fitness should be fun. It should be something that we really strive to make a part of our workout. Is we don't know what people are going through every day, that make this the best 1 hour of their day. And I think that involves more than just, doing squats and doing curls and running on the scale mill. Like I have
Hmm.
somebody posted from our Westfield gym the other day that Alpha has enriched their life so much because they have new friends, they respect themselves more, they do this workout more. And I just think that's great. And that encompasses what we're really trying to get to.
That's amazing. So, Brianna, first of all, many congratulations to you for setting up the club. I know it's, a lot of people want to be entrepreneurs, but they just kind of keep thinking about it and never kind of pull the plug. So kudos to you for doing that. Um, I just had a question, while you're setting up the clubs and you're trying to kind of figuring it all out, I know there's a lot of paperwork involved. You have to get money and you have to spend a lot of costs upfront. I was just wondering, in that entire process, what are some of the things as an entrepreneur just really surprised you the most? Surprised you, and you can pick like a one good surprise and one kind of bad, not so good surprise. So just curious to hear more about that particular aspect of setting it all up.
So this is actually kind of a funny story, and I hope nobody makes fun of me for this, but when we first got started, I did not have any idea what a personal guarantee was. I was young, I was in my mid 20s, and we started doing work with Techno Gym. We do a lot of
Hmm.
with them. Their equipment's great. Um, I love using it. I'm a person with a very serious injury, and they're very low impact and just top of the line for your money. But at the time, I was new to the business and had no idea what a PG. So when I first heard that, I thought it was fine. There's no guarantee. Like, of course, in my head, I'm thinking like, oh, just like when I sign a credit card slip, I first guarantee I'll pay my credit. And then, my partners had to let me know, who I'm very grateful for, Jerry, Rob, Tim, Allison, Sam. They were like, oh, this is not like that. Like, this is very serious. They were like, a personal guarantee cannot pay if the business cannot pay for, this X amount of money that we said we will pay. We each personally have to pay for this. And I think that
Oh.
moment of like, oh, I need to read some books and I got to figure out what I'm doing. Because I was just like, I was signing everything, and I was like, I see these, wealthy older men signing stuff. I'll sign it too. And then I realized, oh, I need to take my life a little bit more seriously. So, as an entrepreneur, I would say that was my first surprise.
Okay, so that's actually good knowledge for other entrepreneurs out there as well who are looking to start business. Do read upon personal guarantee. Is, I don't know if that's the right term for it, or is there anything else I can refer it by?
Well, I think it's think before you sign. That's what I think the moral of the story is, right? Think before you sign.
Yeah, that too.
Right. So that's where I was at. But you know what? It all worked out. But at the time, I just, you don't know what you don't know. So I hope anybody that didn't know that before now does.
Great, that's
That's
awesome.
amazing.
Well, thank you for that insight. I did want to delve a little bit deeper into Alpha Fit Club's business model itself. I know
Sure.
based off of conversations with Dan and with Sam in the past, when we've connected previously, that there's a lot of current subscribers of Orange Theory that are converting over to Alpha Fit Club. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So, I mean, I think there are plenty of avenues to go down in the fitness industry, especially in the tri state area as well as California. Um, but I do believe that out of all the boutique fitness, we have the most versatile offering. So you have your boxing gyms, you have your running gyms, you have your rowing gyms. We encompass everything in one, and we don't really tend to get stale like other brands may, because luckily for us, based on our model, we are able to adapt very quickly. For example, I feel like this may sound a little silly because it's such a small thing, but ski ergs were not such an important part of fitness maybe 2 or 3 years ago. We originally, in our original business plan, they were not included. Ski ergs became trendy, they became efficient, and I agree. A difference in my own body upon using them. But we are able to, based on our model of our 6 stations, our blend of cardio and weightlifting and plyo mixed together, which I have to say we are more weightlifting based. We are not one of these running gyms where you're going to spend an hour on a treadmill. With all that being said, we're able to take the fitness trends, the new nuances, and we're able to adapt and grow with them without really missing a beat. Whereas the other boutiques that we may have become used to in the past couple of years, they're going to stay stagnant based on their model. I believe that we did take the best of many fitness trends and blended them together into the most efficient workout that we can provide our members. And that's what's very important to us.
Great. Okay. Yeah, and I guess that makes sense, right? Because I know that loyalty perspective, the retention rates for Alpha Fit Club are relatively high, right? Do you know the numbers offhand? It's fine if you don't, but I was just curious.
Offhand, I don't know, but I can say that whereas most clubs tend to die out in the summer, we have grown tenfold.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Wow,
in the
that's
summer.
huge.
Wow. Yeah. I know that for traditional gyms, it's people usually start going in the winter. Everyone
Right.
signs up in like, November, December, etc. Like right before, New Year's resolutions, and then New Year's resolutions, it really, really picks up. And then
Yeah.
as soon as it gets down to the summer months, people are just, they're no longer spending as much time in the gym because they've already hit their
Yeah.
target, their target weight, their target bodies, etc. for like beach bod season. So
Yeah. What do they say? Curls for the girls.
yeah, basically, basically.
I actually worked at a few boutique gyms, growing up, knowing that I would eventually land in this arena. and I was there for the summers of despair, let's say. So, in the summer, really put the confidence in me that I made the right decision, that my team made the right decision. We hired the right ops. Ops are so important. I believe that we really nailed it. The team, maybe not so much me, more so I have to say my partners are the pros at this. They have a good nose for sniffing out good character. So I'm very, very grateful to them for that.
That's great. That's great. And, like, how does the fee structure work? Because like, is it annual subscriptions like traditional gyms, or is it more like on a class by class basis, monthly? How does that look? Because 'Cause I'm
It's
sure that's another differentiator, right? Like, how it's
sure. We don't do any annual fees. It is monthly. So, for example, right now I believe we're between 179, 199, unlimited per month, and you can take as many classes as you want a day. And then if you do want class packs, we do have those offerings. Obviously, you get more bang for your buck with the unlimited. And then we also run specials. For example, like right now we're running our fall challenge. We did a summer challenge. Each challenge will be different. So summer was more attendance based. So, for example, in the summer, we had a raffle. So, every time you took a class, you were able to put your name in the bucket. Person who gets pulled gets a free year. The next person gets a free month, so on and so forth. The fall challenge will be more performance and metric based. So, for the fall challenge, we are doing the in body scan, which gives you, the exact weight of your right pinky and your left toe and, all that, and then also we'll give you your weight, your body fat, so on and so forth. But we'll also do testing, and that's something that actually, as a partner, that we felt, me and my partners and I felt was very important because everywhere you go, you can go online and do a weight loss challenge. Everyone can do that. So we wanted another component to be not only the weight loss, but also the performance measure. So we are testing people, myself included, and I am no runner. So today was our 6 minute run test on our skill mills. So we'll test you for 6 minutes, and then, in X amount of weeks from now, we'll test you again. So even if you lost 1 pound, even if you gain a percent of body fat, if you cut your run down by 30 minutes and you feel good and you feel confident and you go home to your family and you're happy, if you go on a Friday night with your friends and you're enjoying your drink and you're not worrying about, your weight and your appearance, that's a huge win for us. Like, we're all about celebrating everything. So I think that the challenges and the price point, yes, it might be a little bit more money than you might spend on LA Fitness or a Crunch, but what you're getting out of it, that return on investment is very ample.
Yeah, just on that note, Brianna, do you mind expanding a little bit more about what different type of classes or activities are offered at the club, so that the people get an idea of what to expect, when they get there, in addition to the challenges, of course.
So we have a number of offerings. So we go by weeks, and it's all based on maximizing your muscle gain and fat loss. So we have our
I
capacity,
see.
our tenacity week, our intensity week, and then what we call remix, which is, a blend of the three. So out of those 3 weeks, 1 week we may focus on low reps, high weight, and we're looking at 8 to 10 reps there. The next week we may be focusing on medium reps, medium weight. We're really working on building our muscles, improving our endurance in a safe way. And then of course we have, the week where we're going crazy. We're doing 10-second sprints. We're doing, the most we can on everything. And then remix blends everything. For me personally, I am the type of person where I would rather run 30 sprints than a mile. So for me, I like to do the short bursts of energy and I like to lift heavy. And then we have people in the room who would completely disagree with me and tell me I'm dead wrong. And they would rather run 3 miles and, never touch a weight. So the good thing
Mm.
about Alpha Fit Club is that we do have something for everyone and there is a method to our madness. I was just recently a bride, and how brides get before their wedding. And I was working hard and I strictly did alpha, and I had to get my dress taken in 3 inches. And I felt, more importantly than, the inches on the dress, I felt confident. I felt myself. I felt able to be happy on my wedding day.
That
So
is amazing. That's awesome.
So I think we provide people with an outlet for joy, which is more important than any scale and any skill mill and any weight you could ever pick up.
That
Right.
is
And
amazing. So I actually wanted to ask a question of, so for people that are interested in checking out Alpha Fit Club, right? What's the best way to learn more about it? Right? Is it besides the website? Well, if you
Sure.
can share the website as well, but are there any social media profiles or something that you can
Yeah.
share for our listeners here, for those that might be interested in checking it out?
Of course. So our website is alphafitclub.com. My personal handle is Bree C Court. So BRECCOURT. We, are very responsive to messages. That's my personal handle. Our corporate handle on Instagram is Alpha Fit Club. And then each individual of the locations has their own branded Instagram as well. We have Alpha Fit Club Westfield, Alpha Fit Club Verona, Alpha Fit Club Red Bank, Short Hills, Glen Rock, Baskin Ridge, Asbury, so on and so forth. As they all open up, though, I would say the best way to get in touch with us would be to either visit our website or DM the main account, because we are in the midst of actually opening up all of those locations. So as that happens, to keep everything centralized, like I said, website, main DM, or me personally, I am the most online person you've ever met. I never sleep, so
Okay.
it's available. But for now,
that's awesome. So I want to touch upon one thing, Brianna, you just mentioned before the socials. It's just you recently got married. So first of all, congratulations. I know it's a huge milestone in anybody's life, so kudos to you for that. Um, I just was curious, like how does the personal and as well as the professional life has changed after getting married? You're an entrepreneur, you're managing these multiple locations for the club, and there are other things that are going on all the while. So just curious to hear your perspective or on that.
well, here's the part where I get mushy and annoying, but I do believe that I picked, or maybe he picked me. I don't know, but my husband's name is Patrick, and he is so supportive of me in every way. I think I could be running these gyms, or I could be running, you know, I could be living in a tent homeless and running, the next blanket giver outer line, and he would be equally supportive of me. Um, so my life hasn't really changed much, because from the second I met him, he was incredibly, incredibly there for me. We were actually joking last night because our contractor for all of our gyms, Tom, we always say, he's such a good guy. He's a my wife guy. He's a guy, when you talk to him, one of the first things he always says is my wife, which I love. Um, of course, as a woman, I'm like, yeah, I love that. And when I said that to my husband, he was like, of course, I'm a my wife guy too. And he's just, I don't actually think I would feel as confident as I do without him. He's just, I have no words. He's amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. Does he love to work out as well, with
Oh,
you
he
or without you?
was a Marine for over 10 years. So
Ah, there you
next
go.
was
Oh,
over.
that's always good, because I was going to say it'd be very interesting if he didn't like to work out, and you're in the business of working out, basically.
He was just eating McDonald's on the couch, watching Family Guy. No, I mean, we do that. But no, he actually pushed a lot too. Because during COVID, I did get, like the rest of the world, I got a little bit down on myself. I got a little out of my normal routine, and he came to a point where he was like, "Listen, like we can't keep doing this. Like you don't feel good. I know you don't feel good. Get up and go." And I don't know what I would have done if he didn't do that. And I'm very, very grateful.
Right,
Awesome.
that's fantastic. So I guess the next question here is, what's next, right? So you guys are opening up a lot of locations. I'm sure there's going to be a scalable component to it, but obviously there's challenges with growing as well, right? So growing rapidly leads to its own requirements, from managing at a wider scale, potentially looking at out of state, looking at how to coordinate trainers across multiple, state lines, etc.
Right.
As during that entire process, what do you think is next for Alpha Club, and maybe also for you personally?
And just to add to that, when are you coming to California?
It's actually say that because one of our Red Bank members is very serious about looking into California. And I actually called our CFO, my partner, today, and I said, "Hey, I think he's serious about California." Like I said, New Jersey is sold out, so we do have interest in California and Florida. I think in those two states we would absolutely crush it. I think we would crush it anywhere. I have an unwavering faith in our brand and our people, and our members, most importantly. But I do think that our biggest challenge will be, um, and what's next for Alpha Fit Club, is we've never searched for talent outside of New Jersey. The talent that we got in New Jersey and that we currently have is, I believe, unmatched. And the coaches we have and the staff that we have are undeniably amazing. But I don't know, and I can't speak for my partners because, they've traveled maybe a bit more than me, but I don't know what there is to be had in other parts of the country. I'm very excited to find out, but I don't know how to go about it. Like I said before, I don't know what I don't know.
Hmm.
So I think that will be it'll be a challenge, but I think it'll be fun. Um, so we'll go from there. I do spend a lot of time on social media based on, so that's why I'm always up at like 3 in the morning thinking like, ooh, like I saw this girl on TikTok, or ooh, I saw this guy, following a Peloton ride. I'm very, very online in the sense of I'm always looking for people that might work with our brand. So that's one of my main concerns moving forward with the brand. And then for me, I'd like to have a couple kids. So we'll see where that goes.
Great. Well, that is fantastic. Yeah. So thank you for that. Um, Deepam, do you want to move on to the next segment?
Yeah, absolutely. So the next segment, Brianna, is just really rapid fire. As the name suggests, we have a bunch of questions. The first thing comes to mind. Uh, Please, we would love to hear your perspective on that. So let me know when you're ready, and I'll just jump right into it.
I'm good to go.
All right, excellent. So let's start with the first one: tea or coffee?
Oh, coffee, black, Dunkin' Donuts or Rook all the time.
Oh, that's definitely a New Jersey person speaking. Dunkin' Donuts, right?
Dunkin' Donuts coffee, but I have to have it every day.
I love how quickly you responded. Okay, next one: mountains or beaches?
Beach.
Another New Jersey answer. We don't have much of the mountains here.
Where is she from? Rapid fire.
Well, you got us some in northern New York, but anyway, what's your favorite comfort food?
That's hard because I like so many things, but if I had to pick, gun to my head, probably penne vodka with chicken.
Okay, interesting. What's your favorite virtue in others?
Honesty.
Okay. What's your biggest pet peeve?
People being late.
Okay. What's your secret superpower?
Sometimes I'm psychic, but for things that don't matter.
Wait, I feel like there's a story behind there. Hold on.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to hear the
That's
backstory
very
behind it.
specific. So I feel like there's a story behind that one.
For example, like my friend one night was going out to dinner in a town that I know well, Fleming. College friends, grew up from there, and she was like, "Oh, I'm going out to dinner in Flemington tonight." I've been out to dinner in Flemington to almost every restaurant, and Flemington's a huge area, and I just looked at her and I said, "Oh, Matt's Red Rooster Inn," and she said, "Yes. How did you know that?" And I said, "I have no idea. I just knew." Well, situations like that, like I always know when people are pregnant. I things that don't benefit me in any way, but I do know them.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's like I guess a combination of like observation and intuition, kind of. I guess.
Or maybe I'm just a witch. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe you really are a psychic. It's like you never know.
Well, that's very, very interesting. Wow, I'm gonna remember that. Excellent. All right, so next one. What's been your biggest accomplishment in the last 1 or 2 years,
Definitely
aside from Alpha Fit Club, if there's any?
marrying my husband for sure.
Awesome. Well, actually, that's actually it at the end of the rapid fire round. So, Ketul, I don't know if you have any other questions. If not, we can just move towards the other discussion.
Sure. Yeah. So I guess one question that I had is, as you guys look to expand to new markets, Do you believe the approach is going to change? Because I know that even within New Jersey, like there's going to every gym has its own culture. Do you think like the same types of cultures that are prevalent across the different areas of New Jersey, if that's going to be replicated out of state, or do you think it's just going to have to be completely reinvented to cater to the local markets? And the reason I ask that is I know we're talking about expansion happening in two completely different states. So like California, depending on where in California, has a completely different cultural vibe
Right.
to it. And the same with Florida, right? Like depending on which part of Florida you're talking about, it's a completely different cultural vibe. So it's like, do you think it's going to be a matter of replicating some of the different cultures that have already been created in the New Jersey market, or do you think it's going to be something completely different?
So I do think we'll be able to replicate the culture to a point. So it's kind of like, let's say, this is going to sound so funny, but back to the comfort food point, chicken parm exists all over the world, right? So like we can get chicken parm in New Jersey, we can get chicken parm in Kentucky, and we can get it in Maine. Every time you get chicken parm, you know it's chicken parm, but it's going to be a little bit different. So I think that we will chicken parm all over the country, but each chicken parm will be a little bit different. So that's a
Okay.
describe.
Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting way of putting it.
That's the best way I can put it. So I do think that our virtues and our values will hold true. I think the way they are broadcasted may differ based on the ops, based on the trainers, but we do have our core values that are very important to us that need to carry on.
So what are those core values? Like, is there like a slogan or like a one-liner associated with Alpha Fit Club?
So I would say our biggest one liner is join the pack. So we, our insignia is a wolf. We're very team based. So you'll see a lot of our merch saying Alpha Fit Club, join the pack. A lot of wolf type merch there. But join the pack is probably, at least for me, our strongest motto. I think it is all encompassing. I think it's very team building. And I think it's very makes people feel a sense of belonging. When we were getting together to even allow like deliberate on the Alpha name, because we always knew Alpha was what we wanted because of our one of our founders, Sam Tooley. Fit Club became very important to us because we want to make people feel included, make people feel at home. And then I
Mhm.
think that the Alpha Fit Club and then, the secondary line join the pack was very important to us and made people feel very accepted and celebrated.
Okay, wow. It sounds like there's a lot of thought that went both into the name and to the slogan. So
And I have a lot of
I
credit to our team member Tim Banos. He actually married my husband and I a month ago, but he and I collaborate a lot on these words. We're both big words people, so have to give credit to him there.
okay, yeah,
Awesome.
fantastic. So I know you did mention earlier that you had a back injury. Is that right? Back injury?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. So it's very interesting because I know that for a lot of people, when they have injuries, like there's an entire rehabilitation process that happens. It's very interesting because for you personally, it's probably tied directly to the industry that you're in now, the fitness industry, right? Did you want to share a little bit about that story, the
Sure.
rehabilitation process following
Yeah.
an injury, and like maybe I mean this is speculation here, but maybe that may have inspired something related to the culture of the club as well, perhaps. I don't know.
No, you nailed it because not only myself but a number of our partners, we were all at a different boutique fitness studio where it was very cardio and running focused. And when we got started, it was the best thing we ever did. We were all incredibly fit, and then you hit a certain plateau, and then you have to keep running more. Then you have to keep running. It's almost like, it's horrible to say, but it's almost like drugs where you don't get enough, and you just have to keep doing more and more and more and more and more because you're not training correctly. You're not working with your body in terms of what's going to benefit it the most, not what you've not max cardio. So myself and a few of the partners got to a point where we realized, hey, we're pretty hurt. We can't do this. And for myself personally, I ended up fracturing my back. Um,
Hmm.
fine. I was on crutches for a number of months. It was very unpleasant. I was in a lot of pain. Um, I was seeing spine specialists all the time. And when actually my dad, to circle back to the beginning of this conversation, when my dad first sent me the information on, real estate in New Jersey for fit franchises, I wasn't even able to walk at that point. Um, I had to do a lot of rehab. I had to do a lot of rest, which looking back it was really hard for me to do. It was a very dark place for me because I am a very social person. I get a lot of my social interaction from the gym and I'm a very active person. So sitting on the couch for almost a year was something that basically made me sit with my own thoughts and wasn't fun at times. But I do think that that injury made me learn, and I'm sure my partners that went through it can say the same thing. It made us all realize that the fitness industry needs something that is challenging to the point of, you're MFing the person next to you, you're mad, you're happy, but you're also safe, which is what Alpha Fit Club is.
Okay, no, I guess that makes sense. It sounds to me like the difference is sustainable fitness, right? Because for a lot
Exactly.
of these other organizations that are out there, like Orange Theory, etc., it's very effective, but it's also not sustainable because it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like max cardio, right? It's like you're trying to do so much so quickly in order to hit a target. And then I think that might be part of the reason why there may be a community that's drawn to Alpha Fit Club because Orange Theory and stuff like that, it's undoubtedly effective, but it's not something you can probably do year round because there's just a breaking point where it's like your body needs a break.
There's many models that I think are effective, extremely effective in terms of weight loss and in terms of initial fitness. And they work for me, and I'm grateful to them because, in many ways, these different studios, these different boutiques are how my I embarked on my fitness journey post athletic career. But a lot of them, like you said, are not something that you can do forever. I truly believe, and I would not advise my own mother to do it, who is, she's my mom, so she's older. We can't disclose her age because I don't even think I know it. I don't think she'd tell me. My mom can do it, and it's scalable and it is challenging. It's so hard to find something that is scalable and challenging because I've been to the boutiques where maybe it's low impact, and then I leave there and I felt like I went on a walk. This is the perfect mix of you get to. It's kind of like picking a setting. You can go at a 3, you can go at a 10. Whether you're at a 3 or 10, you're getting a good workout.
Okay, wow. Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Okay. Thanks so much, Brianna, for answering all of our questions patiently. I guess we're coming to the close of our discussion. But before we wrap up, we'd like to ask a final question to our all of our guests. So, do you have any pieces of recommendations that you can provide our listener? And just for your reference, a recommendation could be a book or a movie, TV series, or podcast that you've kind of come across recently, or just something that stuck with you that really inspired you or something.
Sure. So there's actually this is going to sound so silly, but when I am feeling like I can't, I can't get up gym and I can't, be a good friend today, or I can't be a good wife today, or I just want to, wallow in my pity. There's a quote that I found, and I'm not sure who said it, but it was a couple years ago when I was running half marathons back when I could run. And it said, I may be in pain, but I am not weak. And to
Hmm.
this day, even if it's something as minuscule as somebody's giving me a hard time on work email and I don't want to deal with it, I say to myself, I may be in pain, but I am not weak. If I'm working at the gym and I am huffing and puffing and want to stop, I say to myself, are you in pain or are you weak? And if I'm in pain, I keep going. If I'm weak, I stop. And I don't think I've been weak yet. So
Wow, that is actually an incredible affirmation, right? It's almost like you manifest it for yourself that you get in the right mindset when you say that to yourself, right? It's like I may be in pain, but I'm not weak. So that basically kind of motivates you in the moment.
definitely, especially when you're running, because I do not like to run or anti.
Awesome.
I'm kidding.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining, Brianna. This was an incredible discussion. I did want to do one final plug for our listeners here, and that is if you guys are not already following Alpha Fit Club on Instagram or if you've not yet checked out the website, please do so. As Brianna mentioned, there is an Alpha Fit Club social media account for every one of its individual locations. But to start, you probably want to start with the main page, especially as more locations are being opened up. If you want to get in contact or learn more about Alpha Fit Club, you can reach out to Brianna personally or message their main page, Alpha Fit Club on Instagram. Also, if you guys are not already connected with this podcast, Your Life Unfiltered, please be sure to give us a follow at Your Life Unfiltered on Instagram. And that is it. Brianna, do you have any final questions for us before we sign off?
No final questions. Just want to say thank you guys so much for having me. I really enjoyed talking to you guys, and hopefully we can all maybe I'll come out to the West Coast with Dan one day and get together.
Yeah, I'm in New Jersey,
Absolutely.
by the way. For me
Oh,
personally, I'm in New Jersey. I lived in California from December of last year to May, so I was there for about 6 months. But I'm back home. I'm back home
okay.
now.
Definitely get
But
together.
yeah, for Deepam, I've been trying to convince Deepam to fly over to New Jersey for the last like 2 months now. He's not doing it yet.
No, I'm planning to come sometime over a couple of next week. So I'll keep you guys posted, and we can all hang out if the time.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Brianna, for joining.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Thanks.